Hold on tight for the next hour. You're entering into a place, a zone called the alternative to the alternative media. It's a place, a special place where even truth seekers fear to tread.
All right, people, let's move like we've got a purpose.
Affirmative.
Okay, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, people of all races, colors, and creeds, welcome back. Yes, even if you're a boy one day and a girl the next, you can listen for one show, that's all. And if you're that Pennsylvania official who is a boy wearing a bra telling us to all wear masks, you can still listen to the show. This is the greatest show on earth because it is better than getting poked in the eye with a long, sharp stick. Have you ever gotten poked in the eye with a long, sharp stick? I've heard that so many times, and I've never met one person in the world that's been poked in the eye with a sharp stick. Well, anyway, this show is better than getting your block knocked off. Did you ever hear that one? Your block knocked off. I don't have a block anywhere on me. And I've had that thing knocked off me so many times. And then they say, well, you know, why don't you come up here and say in your own words that you hate the Vatican Jesuit-led New World Order? Well, you know something? Think about it. What do you think I'm going to use? Everybody uses words. What do you think? I'm going to use something else? I mean, I use words in your own words. Am I going to use your words? Whose words? Do you have your own words? That's the question. It's words. But I guess they're asking me, do I have my own words? And so in that case, I have to come up with something like, that's my own words. And then they'll say, this show is better. But you know what? This guy's so crazy, he thinks he's got the greatest show on earth. Go have him locked up and throw away the key. Locked up and throw away the key. You know, you can't throw it too far. I'll get somebody to find it. But this show has gone down the tubes. They say down the tubes. What tubes? I've been looking for these tubes for years, and I can't find them. But anyway, the greatest show on earth here because the Pope is Catholic. You ever hear that one? I bet you that's as good as saying the Pope isn't Catholic. Well, anyway, the Pope is crazy. Yeah, I think he really is. But anyway, this show is better than being told how to prepare a satanic spirit cooking ritual by Maria Abramovic. She knows how to do that, right? You know, I kind of miss this stuff. Greg Anthony here on the Investigatore Giornale. Yes, serious stuff. We investigate crime. We investigate all this kind of stuff. And also investigate crazy laws. Let me talk about Maria. I miss this kind of stuff. Remember Maria Abramovic? She's this sorceress, vampire, witch. She figured out a way. Everybody goes to these spirit cooking rituals. She has these spirit cooking parties where they all drink blood and think they're going to live to be 100. I bet you Prince Philip went to that. I bet you Henry Kissinger went to that. They're all about 99 years old. And the secret is, hey, drink, a child's blood, and whatever else they do over at those parties. And anyway, I found out that she made an appearance today in that tunnel between Georgetown and the White House. Yes, that's the place where they prepare the show of the day. Yes, it's the greatest running sitcom since the Beverly Hillbillies. This COVID-19 stuff. It's so crazy. I mean, but Maria made an appearance with some blood. Everybody drank it today so they can live to be 106. Trump even told us he could be president forever because you can't go to a voting booth anymore. Not that that matters, but I think they're just going to coronate, make him a king, do it the old way, have a coronation, invite the people to court that you really believe will not kill you, and then go out and slaughter everybody that's a threat to your throne. And that's basically what's going to happen. And he's drinking blood along with Obama and the rest of them. They want to outlive everybody, Yeah, and they're worried about a little cough and a cold. Sure they are. This is really great, isn't it? But anyway, Maria, who is a vampire and a grandmother of performance art. Yes, She is controversial. Oh, really? What about the emails she sent to Tony Podesta, good friend of Clinton? And you know what? Clinton and Gates, I'm looking at a picture of them, not drinking blood, but I'm sure they have. The two, what are they experts in? I think population reduction experts. That's what they should be called. But anyway, here's Maria Abramovic. I catch her over at that tunnel because we have it bugged. Yes. You think I don't play the game hard the way they do? If NSA can bug us, we can bug them. Yes. There are no constitutional laws anymore. Why, are you kidding me? Did you know the crazy laws on the books today that still exist? How about in Connecticut? You know, I told you a long time ago I started looking for these, and I broke one. I went to Connecticut, and I bounced a pickle off the ground. It didn't bounce up 1 foot, and I couldn't sell it. That's a law in Connecticut, yeah. If you sell pickles, you have to bounce it off the ground. It's got to at least jump up a foot before you can sell it. Oh, there's a lot of these. So that was one day. I drove all the way to Connecticut to break that. In fact, I've set a Guinness Book of World Records. Since we're talking about record numbers of deaths and all this kind of stuff, I've broken 6,351 stupid laws. Yeah. I even went to, I think it's Kentucky, and I got myself elected dog catcher. Yeah, dog catcher. I said, you know, I always wanted to hold the public office of esteem. And that's probably the most revered, I think, the most important dog catcher. Yeah. And I figured I'd change the whole world. I'd catch the dogs, and then I'd go to the mountains and let them loose, and then there would be no dogs to kill. Yep. So I got elected dog catcher. But you know I had to sign an oath? Yeah. It said that I never participated in a duel, you know, with guns, arrows, knives. That's a law in the books in Kentucky or one of those southern states. But anyway, that's two of the 6,351 laws I have broken. But anyway, back to Maria Abramovic. Yep, I got to check something here. Maria Abramovic. Boy, was she's something. And she is a Satanist along with the rest of them. And they have these spirit cooking things. I miss this stuff, don't you? I mean, this was kind of fun. This COVID stuff's getting a little old, isn't it? You know, we've been talking about it for months, and it's going to go on for centuries. Yes, until they have their one world order. And I'm going to get to that in a minute, because I'm a little fed up with people who are sitting there on the internet going, we don't know who it is. We don't know this. We just got to figure it out. Yeah, figure it out till the cows come home. And then, you know, you'll be sitting in your house for the rest of your life. But anyway, I miss Maria and her spirit cooking adventures. And, you know, it was fun then. John Podesta drinking blood, Hillary Clinton coming out. She went to one of those parties one time and forgot to wipe the blood off her face, you know. And she took a picture of that. Did you ever see that one? And that was right around, you know, the stories I kind of miss. I kind of miss the ones where, you know, Joan Rivers was walking into the doctor and she was met by Inside Hollywood, and they said, isn't it kind of, you know, when are we going to have a transgender in office? And she said, everybody knows, we already do. Michelle's a transgender. We all know it. And then she walked in, 30 days later, she's dead. Yeah, I miss stories like that. I love Joan Rivers. Why'd they have to kill her? But nobody wants to admit these things really happen. Oh, sure. You love the Clintons. Kind of like, you know, remember when Clinton became president, they said, Camelot is here. Camelot, you know, back from the Kennedy days, you know. Clinton's got a murder list long as his arm. Clintons have committed more crimes than I have broken stupid laws. And they get away with it. So I figured, I can go to Connecticut and bounce a pickle off the ground and not get arrested. And I've gone to many states just for that reason. I look for reasons to live. Don't you these days? And don't you feel a little bit cooped up? The world's going to hell in a handbasket. That's one of those things. I've said that thing 100 million times. To hell in a handbasket. Did you ever really picture that? That's got to be a big basket, right? It's a basket. And we're all going to hell in a handbasket. All of us. So you got this big, huge, can you imagine a basket? The whole world's going to hell in a handbasket, according to Maria Abramovic. She'd love the whole world to go to hell in a handbasket, but she'd like to get a little bit of your blood before she goes, But anyway, the big basket and all of us going to hell, what is it like going down there? That's what I'm thinking. The trip down there might be more interesting than actually getting there. No one has ever talked about the trip to heaven and the trip to hell. So what the trip, I think, would be, they say enjoy the journey. Can you enjoy a journey to hell in a handbasket? It's my question to you. Today, on this very important day, another day 277 of Trump telling you, well, you know something, we may close it down, we may not close it down. Let my experts get here for a second. Tell us, Dr. Fauci, how was the spirit cooking party last night? He made a mistake. And then he said, no, I was just joking. It was just sarcastic. Kind of like the disinfectant thing. Swallow disinfectant, folks. It'll help your lungs. But the next day he says, I was sarcastic. I saw it. He wasn't sarcastic. I'm sarcastic. I know facial expressions when you're sarcastic. He wasn't sarcastic. But anyway, so Fauci, has gone to the spirit cooking contest. They were, yes, that's what it was. I was just like Inside Hollywood caught Joan Rivers, I caught them in that tunnel between Georgetown University and the White House where they prepare not only spirit cooking today for the whole cast and crew, Pence included, and Fauci and all those people that come on the White House task force every day, to spew all of their nonsense, which we'll get into in a minute. Yes. All of their crazy nonsense. Yeah, so they're down there in this tunnel. That's where, the director of this reality show, hit reality show, that's going to win an Emmy for the best, confusing, most interesting, most crazy, most unbelievable plot, surrounded by nothing but a cough and a cold. How could anybody think of such a masterful plan to depopulate the world and at the same time keep everybody at home? So they're going to win an Emmy on this, but they were celebrating. So Maria was invited, and she gave a little spirit cooking. She taught everybody how to do a satanic ritual the right way. And everybody drank a little blood. They said, we'll live to be 100 like Henry, or we'll live to be 100 like Prince Philip. And by the way, Prince Philip, that quote of yours should go down in history as the greatest quote in the world. If I could be reincarnated, I would wish to return to Earth as a killer virus to lower human population. Yes, that was our good prince, married to the queen. Boy, I'll tell you something. These royals have a lot of nerve, don't they? Don't they? They don't like America. People, you've been given too much. You have to go back to pulling carts, dying in the street of the plague, and then being stuffed in a hole. Maybe that's what's going on now, but they call it COVID-19. What is that? COVID-19. These people how do they sleep at night? They don't. They're up at night as vampires. Yes, with Maria Abramovic. So she's there teaching Dr. Fauci how to drink blood and then live to be 100 while he tells everybody else, when he comes out to the big stage, a lot of crazy stuff about, we want to save you. We want to help you. Wear your mask. Don't wear your mask. This thing started in Wuhan. No. This was done by the Chinese. No, it was not done by the Chinese. It was done by God. No, it was done by nature. What is it? How come it went from Wuhan? Dr. Fauci's asking, why did it go from Wuhan to where? Wuhan to Iran to Italy to New York to L.A. But why did it bypass Shanghai? Dr. Fauci said, it's a very crazy thing. We don't know, but let me tell you something. It's dangerous. But no, it's not dangerous. It is dangerous. But no, it's not. You can go out. You can go outside, but maybe not go outside. If you want to go outside, make sure it's only for 3 minutes. But make sure that when you're outside, you wear a mask. But if you don't want to wear a mask, that's okay too, as long as you're not around people. But don't do anything that'll get you in trouble. Don't go out because the police are going to arrest you. Don't go scuba diving. It's dangerous in the water. These are what we're being told. Where did it come from? Who it is? Why are we here? We don't know. They don't know. But they're confusing everybody, and it's turned out to be the greatest sitcom in the world. People are going, wow, all I know is these laws are crazy. I think this is nuts. And I've even brought on somebody today, a guest, yes, who is going to, won the Citizens Award for Pulitzer Prize for explaining exactly what the COVID virus is and what these people have been telling us. I've had a hard time understanding it. In fact, I've been concentrating on where the heck this thing came from, and I know it came from a pigeon. Yeah. You know why? You know why? Because the pigeons, they have a deal with us, right? They're the ones we work with. We've worked with them for centuries. Remember, they used to carry our messages, from the king to the duke, back and forth, without anybody knowing. And then as time went on, they infiltrated our parks, and we had a deal. We will not run over you, and we will allow you to poop everywhere. Okay? So this poop that we've allowed them to do has mutated. Yes, that's what caused this thing. Mutated pigeon poop. And there was an enormous amount of pigeons in Wuhan. They don't like Shanghai. See, I figured out Fauci. He was asked that question, why it didn't go to Shanghai and why it didn't go to Beijing. It wasn't because, we have given China everything and they really are going to take over America, and Gates and Clinton and all these people want to see a communist regime here, and they're going to blame it on their invisible enemy. So they protect China, and then China's going to come here with 1 million soldiers, and we're going to be sitting in the house going, we can't go outside, we'll catch a cold, and we don't have our mask on, and we're going to get arrested. Can you believe they're going to arrest you for not wearing a mask? But they told us not to wear masks. That's the real crazy thing here. So we're not to wear masks? Yes, to wear masks. I am not wearing one. Unless I rob a bank, no mask comes on my face. Well, you're not going to go anywhere. You're not going to fly. Well, I don't fly anyway. What do you think? But anyway, the pigeons. This is where it really came from. I've got an inside source. They've rejected this in their movie script. I've sent them things to do. They've asked me to be a crisis actor, but they've now gone to mannequins. Catch that channel, News 4, NBC. They're actually using a mannequin when they're saying there's overcrowding in the hospitals. Then I started thinking, how could the hospitals be overcrowded if they're using mannequins? And then I started thinking, that's not a mannequin. That's one of their transhumans. Yes, they're testing a transhuman to see if he can get the COVID virus. That's it. I know it. Oh, it's amazing what you can learn when you watch these people. But anyway, the pigeon poop in the parks in Wuhan, there was a cluster of pigeons sent over by the CIA. Yes. This is how interesting it gets when you really research it. That's why I call myself the investigative journal. So they infected the pigeon poop, the CIA, sent it over to Wuhan, and I said, well, why? They're working together. Well, that question we will try to answer. But the pigeons were not sent to Beijing. See, this was a plan to blame it on the Chinese. Then the pigeons were sent to Italy. Yes, and they pooped all over everything. And then the pigeons were sent over to Iran, and they pooped on everything. Then they pooped in L.A. Then they pooped in New York. And they're pooping all over. That's how it was. That's how it spread. So, really, the pigeons are a bit upset. We always had a deal with the pigeons. The pigeons were our friends. We don't run you over, you can poop in the park. But look what they did. Look what the CIA and the people did with this. Created this. They ought to call it Poop 19. Pigeon PP 19. How's that? PP, Pigeon Poop 19. That's the greatest name for it. That's really what's going on. I told you to listen to this show. You'll get it figured out. And in the second half hour, I got some great things for you. Don't leave. You know how they always say don't leave? I mean it. Don't leave. You know what? You can't leave. You can't go anywhere, right? I was thinking about that today. There's states that are opening up, they say. What do you mean opening up? They're opening up for business. So we got states. I looked at the states. I went through this the other day. I could have, one state says, okay, we're going to open up on Texas. Okay, we're opening up at the end of the month. 3 days. Okay, great. I mean, it's been closed? Yeah. What do you mean closed? See, you say it's closed. I think there's a lot of Texans out there getting their military arms together, ready to take over Austin. Another Alamo is what should take place. So anyway, they're going to open up they're telling us which ones can open up and which ones can't. Oh, hell, don't listen to them. But they're saying, okay, we're going to open up restaurants, but you're going to have to change your seating. We may have to inoculate you before you go. You may have, well, they don't have it yet, but they will. And then you may have to wear a face mask. How are you going to eat with a face mask? That's my question. Can I take it off when I eat? So what's the difference? People eat. You got to have a face mask to go in the restaurant? That was this new plan in L.A. that Gavin Newsom just brought out. But in Texas, they're going to open the restaurants. Isn't that nice? I think I'll go to Texas. But only 25 people involved. They'll let in. Oh, really? What if you have a bar mitzvah and you got 26 people? You can't have them? Who's the 26th person? What if you're a family of 6 celebrating a birthday, and there's 21 people in there? They count 4, and then you got to leave the other family members out? That's crazy. And what about when you go to a bar? They want you to stay 6 feet away. How are you going to ever pick up a girl in a bar? You ever think about that, guys? What, you got to stay 6 feet away with a blowhorn? How are you ever going to do it? It's done. I mean, you might as well not even open. Just listen. If we got all these crazy laws that you can't drop a pickle in Connecticut, and if it doesn't bounce a foot up, check it out, then you can't sell it. Imagine what they can do with this. Imagine that they can do, but yet they can go to their spirit cooking parties and do what the heck they want and drink blood and do these vampire tricks and all this kind of stuff. But that's okay. Hey, man, they're still doing it. But, I heard even at Luigi Francone's little meeting at the, where they meet to give out the scripts, and some interesting words. They said to Mike Pence, they said, Mike, come on, you're too serious. You got to get off just ad live once in a while, He's a terrible actor, boy. They know it, but he's only in a role to back up Trump to make him look great. But anyway, so at this thing, they were laughing about the spirit cooking, and they said, and they think we're only going to be 25 people there. Yeah, that's for them. And people ask me, why did they do this? Why did the Vatican Jesuit order and all of their minions do this? And I said, they're bored. They're smart. They're bored. They want to see how much control they have. And boy, if you really think about it, they do have a lot of control. Every country in the world is listening to this nonsense. And the other day I was saying, you don't believe their scripts? Somebody emailed me and said, this is not a reality show. Come on, Georgetown, the tunnel doesn't exist. Oh, it doesn't? Yeah, and the replica Coliseum in Kansas doesn't exist too, buddy. You want to meet me there? So anyway, I got him off quick. But anyway, you think about it, they're down there and they're laughing at us, but the control is amazing, the whole world. And so people said, well, they're not scripted. I said, oh yeah? I'll show you. There's the Australian Prime Minister, and who was it? The Canadian or some Australia and one of the other provinces of England. Heads of state were giving a COVID speech. And they were the same speech. So you don't think they passed the script around? My goodness. So anyway, I'm looking at a picture here to end this half hour. I'm going to come back with the Pulitzer Prize winning, journalist who explains to you what the experts are really saying about the COVID-19 virus, the invisible enemy. I'm looking at a picture here of Clinton and Gates. That's Hillary. Little blood on their mouth, sure. Should have wiped it off. She said it was lipstick. 2 population control experts get together. Yes, back on the Investigatori Giornale in 3 minutes here on FirstAmendmentRadio.com.
The book of Revelation says, the spirit of prophecy is the testimony of Jesus Christ. This is at the very heart of FirstAmendmentRadio.com. In that spirit, we have created the Prophecy Reality News app for all of your mobile devices, streaming First Amendment radio 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Available for your Apple, Android device, and smartphone, absolutely free. Get the Prophecy Reality News app installed today so you can listen to First Amendment radio wherever you are. The Prophecy Reality News app. Get it now.
Visit crosstheborder.org, CROSS, crosstheborder.org, to get your print, EPUB, or PDF version of Nicholas Arthur's new book titled When the Third Temple is Built. That's crosstheborder.org. When it comes to prophecy today, much of the evangelical Christian world has their eyes on Israel, waiting and watching to see when the third temple will begin to be built. The plans are drawn, the Jewish people are eager. Most evangelical Christians today believe that the rapture will happen before the third temple is built. Hi, I'm Michael Eugene. I was taught that Daniel's 70th week was in the future. Is that really what the Bible teaches? Have we searched the scriptures and found this to be true? Why is it so important for a re-established Israel to build a third temple in Jerusalem? Is it necessary to build a temple on the same location already occupied by the Dome of the Rock? Is it necessary for sacrifices to take place in the temple on Temple Mount? Is there really a rapture followed by 7 years of tribulation? What is the New Testament temple? Can we identify history and prophecy? Who is the first beast in Revelation chapter 13? Who are the 7 kings in Revelation 17? I have asked all these questions, and I have found Nicholas Arthur's new book, When the Third Temple is Built, answers all these questions and more using Scripture to interpret Scripture. The Bible says that no prophecy of Scripture is of any private interpretation. Nicholas shows us in his new book, When the Third Temple is Built, how the Bible interprets prophecy and not man's private interpretation. Visit crosstheborder.org, CROSS, crosstheborder.org, to get your print, EPUB, or PDF version of Nicholas Arthur's new book titled When the Third Temple is Built. That's crosstheborder.org.
The following program is labeled dangerous and off limits by the supreme Jesuit command. But stand tall, people. Listen up, and you may just learn something.
Oh, dear Lord Jesus, this ain't happening, man. This can't be happening, man. This isn't happening.
Okay, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, the second half hour, the greatest show on earth. Everybody can listen, all races, colors, and creeds. Yes, you can listen, because this show, folks, yes, the second half hour is better than even reading the Constitution. Yes, because you know what? George Bush told us it's like a piece of toilet paper. Yeah, you might as well just rip it up. Don't read it. I mean, there are constitutional scholars, but the show is better because we tell you right here and now who is behind all this stuff. You know, there are people out there who've put together some pretty good stuff about the confusion that's going on. You know, people are really upset. Pacific Palisades, or no, it was a Pacific Beach in San Diego. 500 people went out protesting with signs, COVID lies, and the police came and said, we can't get near you, but you better go home because your mommy says you can't go out and play anymore. You know, this is getting to a point where people are getting arrested for taking their kids to the park. It's worse than the pickle thing in Connecticut. You know, you can't bounce a pickle. If it doesn't bounce a foot, you can't sell it. I mean, this is getting better. They got better laws than that. They're going into people's homes. Man, when you start looking at all the crazy stuff, and I should do that, I've got a few. In the second portion of the half hour, I'll go through some of the states and all these crazy laws. I'm going to have to go and break them, you know. In fact, I'm going scuba diving as soon as I can. And I told you a long time ago, I got sent home. I thought I was protecting myself. I put my scuba gear on, my gloves, my hat, my 7mm suit, hood, goggles. I even strapped my scuba tank on for oxygen if I needed it. Put my fins in the car driving. I got stopped by the police and he said, where are you going? I said, scuba diving. He said, he can't. Go home. I said, I'm protected. You got a little mask on. And he just sent me home anyway. That's the law. You know, what the heck, the law? I'll give you the law. You know, I'll read you the Riot Act. What is it? I've always wondered this, the Riot Act. I'm going to write one. Now, what is the riot? I'm going to write the riot act. So basically, next time you hear that and somebody says, I'm going to read you the riot act if you don't get the heck out of this store, you can say the riot act is written by Greg Anthony on the Investigative Journal, and here is the riot act. It's a 3,000-page report on how to figure out the Jesuits are the leaders of the New World Order. That's the riot act, and that's really what you should know. But anyway, people are out there figuring out the confusion, all this stuff, the laws. I go through them, and I go, okay, they start out saying masks and then not masks. And then Gavin Newsom just cuts a deal with China. Can you believe this? Now, if Californians stay in California, they're stupider than I thought. I mean, he just sent $1 billion with a Chinese company to manufacture masks. 900,000 masks or something. I mean, $1 billion of your taxpayer dollars. And they don't even know if they work. I mean, who's going to do that? Well, they're going to have every Californian wearing one, laughing at you. I mean, I'm not going out with a mask. I'm too beautiful. You know how many women are going to be upset when I go out with a mask and they can't look at this beautiful face? Do you ever think about that, guys? And then there's guys saying, well, that's okay. I won't have to shave. Well, that's okay. I won't have to brush my teeth. Nobody can smell my breath. Well, okay. And what about girls? One of my great pastimes. I go out every day and I say, okay, what's the prettiest girl I saw today? Oh, you're racist. You can't talk like that anymore in America. It may be a boy. How do you know if it's a girl? Well, I grew up figuring out that girls, they look a little different. They act a little different. They're prettier. Their bodies are nicely shaped, much better than like a monkey man's body. They're very good to look at. What am I going to do when they wrap them into a hazmat suit, put a mask on their face, and then tell them, you got to shave your head like the satanic priests in the old days because COVID virus can be spread through your hair. Oh, but you see those beautiful Hollywood actresses, they don't cut their hair. They're not wearing a mask in the movie. Oh, yes, they will. So you're going to go to the movies now, and every person's going to be wearing a mask. It's going to be fun. I want to look at Marlon Brando. Boy, he was a good-looking man. I want to look at Gina Lollobrigida. But I can't anymore. They're all going to be wearing masks. This is insane. But Gavin Newsom goes out and spends $1 billion. True, $990,000. Okay, sorry. I mean, these people. And then he's starting to go over some of the little things in California that you're going to have to do. I said, you got to get out of there. Idaho's not far away, guys. But they're going to put up a big, huge Chinese wall to keep Californians out. That's the wall Trump was talking about. Let's build the wall, Idaho, to keep Californians out. Open the border to Mexico. They're nice people. Hell, it's nicer before I got abducted by the cartel, you know the story. I'm in another these farmers in Kansas are very nice. They put me up again. I'm in a hotel. They're paying for it. And I will be meeting Slats Grobnik, the head of the Second American Revolution, tomorrow, maybe the next day. But I'm being well taken care of, fed well, good food, organic food, they tell me, not made by the big pharma companies that say it's organic. So, and I can tell because you can smell, you can hear the flies, see the flies, you get the manure, it's really organic. And I know manure. You want to hear the story? Oh, do I have time? I could go on for days like this, Who cares about staying at home? You're all captive. You got to listen. The last true art form, radio. You can't watch TV because they're all going to be wearing masks. But what are they going to do? They're going to start saying that you can catch the COVID virus through the airwaves. Don't listen, especially when people talk like me. If they don't talk like the government talks, then you can catch it. Catch the same disease. Like I told you yesterday, I have what's called COVID hoof and mouth disease. It makes me uncontrollably say anything against what the government is saying. I don't have no control over it. It just comes out of me. That's the disease I caught. And I hope you catch it too. I don't wish any discomfort on you, but I hope you catch it too. Because you know what? There's a lot of people out there that caught it because I'm catching this from, I must have got it from somebody. You know. But anyway, I deal with the big stuff. You know, the top of the cheese mart, or whatever you want to talk, the top of the ladder, the top of the pyramid. And I did that because I was always interested in revolutions. That's why I'm involved with Slats Grobnik. And if you wonder what he's doing, just go to my website. Please, Greg Anthony, what is it? GregAnthony'sJournal.wordpress.com. God, I hate saying .com anymore. Can they change that? You know, make it nicer, .com. Make it like .pizza pie. You know, .spaghetti and meatballs. I'd rather have that. So go to GregAnthony'sJournal.wordpress.spaghetti and meatballs. Well, how about if we do this? Let's just have a little secret code like they do. You know, the occult and all these people. I've learned this from many years of research of revolutions, that they speak in sign languages. They have to tell us this because the Bible tells us that they have to tell us so they can get away with this evil. Now, that's confusing, but I can explain it when this COVID hoof and mouth disease passes. And I'll explain it. And I'll get back to normal, don't worry. Nobody's getting back to normal after this. Please believe me, they're not going to let you unless you escape. And I'm already thinking of an escape route. I've talked to Slats. This is why I've always gotten involved in revolutions. And so to get involved with them, his revolution, by the way, is unique. He sent out already 160 emails and texts. I just got word that he's gotten 2 million responses. They all want to fight. And he said, okay, but most of them said, we can't go out right now. We will fight when we're allowed to go out because we may catch a cough and a cold. And I said, how are we going to raise an army like that? You know, we need Vikings. People that aren't afraid to die. Die for a cause. What's that old expression? You can live for nothing or die for something? I'm dying for a pizza. And all these pizza places where I'm living, you know, I said, can I get a pizza? And the farmer said, I'm trying. They closed down. I said, it's takeout. They said, I don't know. They're taking this time off. Everybody says, why not? I'm listening to stories where people are not wanting to go back to work, even in some of these states where they allow it, because they're making more money from the government. Checks. And businesses are going, oh my goodness, we can't afford to pay what the government pays, so the government's going to take over socialism. OAC, my hero, yes. But you know what? I started thinking, the Jesuits created socialism, so why don't we bring them into the conversation? And so when I got involved with Slats Grobnik's revolution, it was because I studied revolutions years ago, every one of them. From 1750 to 1850 is a good period to look at. French, American, I don't know, I name a lot of them, Polish, German, Italian, probably some I'm missing. I'm just doing it off the top of my head. Russian. There were a whole bunch of them, and every one of them the Jesuits were involved in. So I said to myself, why aren't they involved in this one? The Atlantic magazine was saying this is the next French Revolution, so I said the Jesuits have to be discussed. But they will not talk about it. I asked, you know, why doesn't Laura Ingraham, Hannity, Tucker Carlson, and all these nice gentlemen and people and women that I love. I mean, they're my friends from afar. I enjoy listening to them. I enjoy more thinking about their lifestyle. You know, that's what I do. All these media people who are lying to us like them, they don't think they are, but they are. They're making millions of dollars, and I'm thinking, boy, they must have a good lifestyle. When I was a journalist, you know what? I only was making like $175 a week. Oh, I'm just dreaming. And boy, did I have a dream last night. Just like Martin Luther King, I had a dream. Oh, it was such a dream. I woke up and the streets were empty. I woke up and people were getting poked with needles. I woke up and it seemed like fire in all the streets, people yelling and screaming and fighting. I woke up and the government telling us exactly what to do. I woke up, I saw Times Square on that big, huge screen and the government saying, you can't go outside today. The virus is being transported by alien ships. I mean, it was really crazy, and the whole world had changed. And then I woke up and I said, I'm not dreaming. This is exactly what's happening. So the dream came true, yeah. Their dream to control you. And the White House task force dream to drink all your blood. But they were at Maria Abramovich's little get-together in the tunnel where they do their daily reading of their scripts. They get their crisis actors together. And they go out and they say, knock 'em dead, boys. Break a leg. Just like in Hollywood. Hollywood, that's an interesting word. It's some kind of an occult. Holly is a witch thing, and wood, and they put it together. So it's all occult. We know it. But we let it go on because it's enjoyable. They weren't bothering us, right? Well, let them play their little satanic games. But now, they want to kill us. So we've got to fight back. So I got together with Slats Grobnik, and we're doing it. So go to my website. Yesterday I recounted part 7 or 6 of my story of what's happened to me. I'm now comfortable in another hotel near the replica Coliseum, getting ready to meet him. And I worry about the big picture. The Jesuits. Oh, they're a fine bunch of guys. In fact, I got contacted by them over the years, and they said, I ought to be a Jesuit priest. I know more about them than they do. And they said, you could work your way up to the 4th vow and be a really great infiltrator. I said, how much do you pay? They said, money's not an object. You'll have what you want, sir. I said, let me think about it. I'll talk to my agent. Well, anyway, so since we are looking at the big picture here, I've gotten together with Hedda Hopper. She's hoping that people listen to her. And she's got 16,246 views. And I think these are legitimate views. Because I looked into this and I said, how come some people get 8 million views for something that is really like, what's that woman out there now who's getting all these videos, 5 million views and all this? She's got to be a government shill. Or they pay for them. Yeah, there's companies out there. They say, we'll get you 7,000 views on your, video, and it's going to cost you $25. So I said, yeah, I got to look this up. I said, you're going to get 7,000 views. What are the views? How do you know? They say, well, they're not bots. I said, what is a bot? And I guess that's a new thing. I said, is it kind of a little man that listens but is not real? And they said, well, listen. So I said, okay, give me a test. And they said, okay, we'll get you 250 views. I'll show you that. And on a video, I had, none. So I gave it to them. They had 250 views in a minute. I said, how could people get to that? Basically said, well, it's not bots, but it's not real. I said, well, what is it? They couldn't explain it. So if you have the money, you can pay to get $75. You can get 20,000 views right away. I'm not saying this is what she did. It's pretty good. Then the video I gave him, the guy said, that's good content. I said, oh, really? Maybe you'll learn something. You owe me $25. He said, for what? I said, for the good content you just learned. I have value too, don't I? I'm giving you value. You're giving me fake value. Oh, boy, that was it. He didn't chat with me anymore on that little chat guy. I love this. You go to these little websites now, and you got a little man there. And I'm going, really? Are they that small? We've got little people living, and we don't even know it. They're like 3 inches tall. It's like that Pillsbury Doughboy that came to me yesterday in a drone to try to give me a vaccination. Remember? Go to my story. You'll love it. The Jesuits are amazing. I never thought they'd use the Pillsbury Doughboy to give me a vaccination shot, or maybe to give me cyanide or something. I didn't take it. I shot the drone down, and I did not harm the Pillsbury Doughboy. He was laying quietly, like in the commercials, on the lawn, but I escaped, and now I'm in a very safe hotel. Okay, so let me get to this. This Hedda Hopper gave a 3-minute dissertation, and she's going to win the Pulitzer for this. I'm going to put her up for that. Explaining to you what the experts are saying at the White House task force. Because I was trying to think of it, and I said, it's the way I deal with always things, big problems. Are you the kind of person like this? I always deal with big things that I can't control. And they always tell you, well, only deal with what you control. I said, I'm very bad at dealing with what I can control over my lifespan. So I'm going to deal with things I can't control because then I don't feel like such a failure. You get the drift? Well, anyway, Hedda Hopper is here to give you 3 minutes on really what they're telling you in the White House task force. You're going to love this. Yes, you're going to love it. I got to play it. You know how I got to do this. This is very complicated when you don't have a producer. Anybody want to be my producer? Oh, that's a great job. What does he pay? Oh, well, you know what? Let me think about that. Why don't you just get the government to pay for you and just come and do this for fun. But anyway, here is the greatest truth parody about these little things that the White House is telling us that we can't figure out. And hopefully the volume will be right. I'll set it. Don't worry. Be patient. Don't get mad at me. Here we go.
Everybody isn't following the same rules right now. They're very clear, so let's take a minute and let's go over them again. First, you must not leave the house for any reason, unless of course you have a reason, and then you may leave the house. All stores are closed except those that are open, and all stores must close unless, of course, they need to stay open. This virus is deadly, but don't be afraid of it. It can only kill people who are vulnerable and also those who are not vulnerable. We should stay locked down until the virus stops infecting people. And it will only stop infecting people if enough of us get infected that we build immunity. So it is very important that we get infected and also do not get infected. You should not go to the doctor's office or the hospital unless you have to go there. Unless, of course, you are too sick to go there. This virus has no effect on children except for those children in which it affects. The virus remains active on different surfaces for 2 hours or 4 hours or 6 hours, but in most cases it's days and not hours, and it needs a damp environment or a cold environment that is warm and dry in the air, unless the air is plastic. Schools are closed, so you need to homeschool your children unless you can send them to school because you are not home. If you are at home, you can school your children using various portals and online classrooms unless you have poor internet, more than one child, only one computer, or you are working from home. Baking cakes can be considered math, science, or art. If you are home educating, you can include household chores within their education curriculum. And if you are home educating, you may start drinking at approximately 10 a.m. every day. If you are not home educating children, you may also start drinking at approximately 10 a.m. Masks are useless at protecting you against the virus, but you still need to wear one because it can save lives. And in some cases, it may even be mandatory, but also maybe not. You must not go to work, but you can get another job, at which point you may go to work. Stay home. I don't know how many more celebrities we need to have tell you how important it is to go outside and take care of your mental health. There is no shortage of groceries in the supermarket. There are simply many things missing. You don't need to go buy a bunch of toilet paper, but you should buy some in case you need it. If you are sick, you may go out once you are better, but those in your household, they cannot go out once you are better unless, of course, they need to go out. Animals are not affected by the virus, except for that cat that tested positive in Belgium in February, plus a couple tigers. The number of corona-related deaths will be announced daily, but we don't know how many people are infected because we were only testing those who are almost dead to determine if that's what they will die of. The people who die of corona who are not counted won't or will be counted, but maybe not. To help protect yourself during these times, you should be eating well and exercising, but exercising only eating what you have at home to avoid going to the stores unless you need toilet paper or a fence panel. It's important to get fresh air, but don't go to parks, but do go walk in other places. Just don't sit down unless you are old or pregnant. But if you do sit down, don't sit for too long. Unless you are old and you are pregnant, in which case you need to sit down. But if you do sit down, don't eat unless you've had a long walk, which you are allowed to do if you are old or pregnant, except for times in which you aren't. Don't visit old people. but you have a moral obligation to take care of old people and bring them food and medicine. And finally, no businesses will go down due to coronavirus except those businesses that go down due to COVID-19. I hope this cleared up any questions about what we should and should not be doing during this time. Please educate your friends and family with this information so we can remove any and all confusion surrounding this time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Hedda Hopper, for clearing that up. Boy, that really did clear it up. You know, that's the clearest thing I've heard in days and months about what's going on. You know, thank you. That was well, and I'm clearing up the big picture here and telling you this, that I figured out where this thing came from. And it's actually from pigeon poop. Like I said, and I explained it earlier, how they're spreading it. They're, you know something, the CIA got to them. They're no longer working with us people. Our deal is off. You know, we don't hit them in the street, and they can poop on all our statues. But now they've come against us. So it's the pigeons. But, like I said, don't hurt the pigeons, because they are really just innocent people in this. They don't know what they're doing. They think they're carrying messages like they did for the Queen back in the old days, you know, to the Duke, to try to overthrow Prince Henry with the York people. You know, they think they're doing a great thing, so don't hurt the pigeons. And please don't run them over. You know, I didn't kill the Pillsbury Doughboy yesterday when I could have. You know, when he was trying to inoculate me. They've got a really system now. They're going to bring drones and they're going to drop the Pillsbury Doughboy to give you a vaccination. If you don't, you will be sprayed with pigeon poop that contains the COVID virus. That's the latest. You got it from Hedda Hopper and me here on the Investigatore Giornale. This stuff is that's why people call this the greatest show on the earth. Because really, you don't get this anywhere else. You're not going to get the truth anywhere. Come here tomorrow for more on the Investigatore Giornale on First Amendment Radio. Pizza pies.
The book of Revelation says, the spirit of prophecy is the testimony of Jesus Christ. This is at the very heart of FirstAmendmentRadio.com. In that spirit, we have created the Prophecy Reality News app for all of your mobile devices, streaming First Amendment Radio 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Available for your Apple, Android device, and smartphone, absolutely free. Get the Prophecy Reality News app installed today so you can listen to First Amendment Radio wherever you are. The Prophecy.
Since the beginning of time, kings have sought it, nations have fought for it. It has been traded, it has been borrowed, it has been purchased, it has been stolen. There's a reason for it. To secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and to our posterity. Invest with the security of gold and silver. Call Discount Gold and Silver Trading at 1-800-375-4188 or visit discountgoldandsilvertrading.net. Listen to Financial Survival with your host Melody Cedarstrom right here on FirstAmendmentRadio.com at 4 p.m. Eastern or 1 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit discountgoldandsilvertrading.net or call Discount Gold and Silver Trading at 1-800-375-4188. Toll free 1-800-375-4188.